Nexxlegacy.
Well, it's always an actual great time out just to be able to not just be tuned in to Branded After Dark. Sweet Aaron going to be here in a little bit, but I am Branded here to kickstart it all off. It's always good to be able to come back and have another conversation with someone who I've admired for so long. Not that long, because I got to make sure that we keep our age quiet. But I've been a follower and a supporter of Miss Cheryl Cooley of Klymaxx for a long time, and not only am I proud to see that she's continuing to have her band perform and perform at a high level, it's always good to just be able to have a conversation with her about not just life, but also the industry and how things are going and how she feels about certain things. And I'm glad that the listeners out there that's listening can be able to just soak in some game for an all-time vet and someone that has a ton of music that will withstand the test of time. And I want to welcome again back home to Nexxlegacy Radio, because this is her home, Miss Cheryl Cooley of Klymaxx, who is here. What's up, sweetheart?
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm honored to be on the show, talk to you and your listeners. Thank you.
How you doing?
Good. I'm well. I'm doing well. Yeah.
Obviously, because you're still doing a lot of shows, and you still have that drive to do it. And I want to try to switch it up a little bit and not ask you the same questions I asked you the last time we talked. But Cheryl, you continue to just keep pushing that envelope for a lot of other people out there. What gives you that motivation? Because I see you. Because come on now, Cheryl. Look. You doing like twice as many things as some of these young people. Like, ooh, I could do like this one thing, and I'm good. Lord, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? But you keep out doing this, Cheryl. What's the secret? What's the secret?
Oh my God! You know what? It's really about having passion for what I'm doing. Passion for the music, passion for the fans and the audience. That's what keeps me going. And I can't say that there's not times when I don't go, I need a rest, but, the energy from the crowd, the energy from the listeners, the fans that contact me on Facebook or whatever, they give me the motivation to keep going. Anytime I feel like maybe I should stop, somebody comes along and says, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing. That motivates me that much more.
Okay. That seems to be fair, because to me, I think any time that you do something that you got a passion for, I think it always starts with not just knowing your limits and your limitations, and then just not just knowing your limits, but knowing that I can exceed those limits by doing a little bit more, or just have a moment where it's just like, if you're out doing a show, maybe I need to just stick around and say hi to an extra fan. Maybe I probably wouldn't have, maybe like 30 minutes in, just to be able to say hi or hello. But your interaction with your fan base has been tremendous over the years.
Oh, yeah. They're the reason why I'm out there. I appreciate them continuing to support me. And, it doesn't take, a lot to stop and say hello, how you doing? Thanks for being here. I'm really into the fact that they're there, and I appreciate that they, allow me to, take in their space for a while and just sit there and chit-chat, ask them about things, and they'll ask me about things. I love interacting with the audience and the fans.
What are some of the things that, because you have generations of fan bases, right? Like you have them for different ages, different colors, different, everything for the most part. What are some of the things that your fan base have reached out to you and just really just wanted to just give high praise to, or just really admire, or just really say, hey, you know what, I would love to see XYZ?
A lot of times they'll talk, the older fans will talk about, the things that were happening, in their life at the time that the songs were out. The audience is just now, kind of discovering us. They'll say, oh, I heard that on the radio, and they really like the music. The younger fans, they see an all-female band up there, and that gives them the encouragement to do it also. You know, a lot of people haven't seen, you know, an all-female band even to this day, and that amazes me. You know, we still get up there and look at some of the people in the audience, and you know, they're standing there with their mouths hanging open like, wow, I've never seen that before. You know, I've been doing
wow,
this
where
for
they
a
do
while.
that at?
Everybody's seen this by now, but a lot of people,
Right.
you know, they're amazed at it, you know. So, you know, all the different generations, they have something to, how can I say, exchange, in a sense, exchange energy, you know, either from what they hear, what they see, what they feel from our performance. I mean, it's great. You know, they talk with me, I talk with them. We just kind of exchange with each other, and it's great that it, you know, has gone cross-generational.
You know, and I think that's important for the listeners to be able to appreciate and soak in, because, like you said, you mentioned that a lot of people have not seen a female band before, or they may have not witnessed it live when you and the other ladies perform. And has that evolution? I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that appreciate it, but will that evolution ever return where they can kind of say, hey, you know what, Klymaxx is still doing it, and in a form where a lot of people have to be able to harmonize together. They have to be able to be in one step. Are you going to be? I guess what I'm trying to say is, are we still going to be able to see that again from other people outside of just you? Is there still going to be a lot of people like that?
You know what? I don't know if I can answer that. I'm hoping so. I mean, but I don't know if I can answer that. You know, the music business has changed so drastically from, you know, when Klymaxx was out in the 80s. You know, there's opportunities for many different things to happen, yet and still there aren't the same type of opportunities that can, how can I say, generate massive, I don't want to say massive success, but, you know, kind of massive success that we were used to seeing, you know, as they say back in the day. It's kind of a bittersweet. You know, anybody that can, you know, get a decent computer and put together sounds that they hear in their head, you know, they can make a recording and release it, you know, digitally and have it, you know, be heard worldwide. But yet and still, you know, back when, you know, Klymaxx in the 80s and even in the 90s, you know, even before that, there were, you know, record companies that were more or less in control of how the music was distributed and what audiences and listeners and, you know, radio stations. So it's a much, much different atmosphere as far as what we're living through the music business today.
I feel like this, and I think I can bring it up, too, because you actually put it on my page, and I really got a chance to look at the article about how this generation really killed the music industry. And it was a good read from a standpoint where I love music. You know, I'm a late 70s, early 80s baby, so I still listen to music from the early 70s, 60s, 50s, and so on, because it gives you that feeling of, you know what, creativity. You love what they're singing about, or you love how it's delivered. You love just the melody. You love certain things about it. And I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cheryl, but this generation now, they get it too quick, fast, and in a hurry, and they don't appreciate it as they should, right?
Right. Well, we'll have to remember one thing first. This generation, or, you know, the generation that we claim has, you know, killed the music industry, they kind of, how can I say, made their own rules. They didn't have the same kind of rule book that, you know, that we had to follow with. So in a sense, they didn't, how can I say, I don't want to say they didn't know, but it was kind of like they were writing their own way with the tools that they were given. So, you know, yeah, the article, you know, did say, you know, how one generation has single-handedly, you know, killed the music industry, but they were handed a lot of tools. You know, they didn't just wake up one day and go, oh, let's, you know, they were really, you know, in a sense, handed the weapon to destroy it. You know, record companies have started giving smaller album budgets. You know, the digital electronic age had come in where, you know, you didn't need live humans playing instruments.
Right.
So they were handed the tools to, you know, create this atmosphere of, you know, just kind of killing the music industry as it had been built up to be. You know, the executives decided, you know, why should we give somebody a $100,000 budget for an album when, you know, if we get rid of this one, and put a computer here, we can give them $10,000 and, you know, make just as much money. You know, little did they know that same theory was going to wind up causing their own jobs to be cut. Because when you look at it, we don't have as many record companies anymore. So the same executives that made those decisions, they basically cut their own juggler.
Is there going to be any? And I think and you're right, because everything you're saying, and it's just like, sure, I'm a big fan. I mean, not just being a fan of yours, and it's just like I'm a fan of music, good creative music, and it's like now I can kind of see how it was from how it is, and how it is.
Right.
It's just like, even as fans, like, radio's not the same. We all know that. We all know that.
Yeah.
It gets to the point where even concerts, like you said, it's like foreign land when Klymaxx is on. It's like, oh my God, they got a live band. Who does that? Like, who does that? Right. And it's sad, because it's sad, Cheryl, because, you know, we have, I mean, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'll come to, you know, the far reaches of the globe to be able to find a Klymaxx concert and go celebrate that, because I feel like everybody should do that if you have it in your lifetime. But I just wish people weren't so handicapped by the easy function of the music business now, instead of looking how hard you ladies worked in other bands to be able to just soak that in and just admire it and respect it. I think the appreciation was was really, really high back then, because that did take a lot of work, and still take a lot of work to this day.
Yeah, well, and also the quality of music. I mean, when you look at the quality of music, I mean, we don't have the same type of educated musicians that we had back then. So the music is going to be different. And there's a lot of factors with that. You know, a lot of people say that because they stopped teaching music in schools is the reason why we have some of the type of quality of music that we have now. So, you know, when you kind of throw all of that in the pot, I mean, the same type of songs or the same type of music, the same quality of sound and production, it's not going to be out there. It just doesn't have to be that, you know. And that's unfortunate because, I mean, constantly I hear people coming up to us, you know, after the show or, you know, before the show, whatever. It's like, yeah, this is real music. This is real music. I mean, what do you say to that? You know, it's like, well, what you're hearing on the radio now is, okay, give me a description, because I'm not sure what you know, I'm not sure how to not be insulting about it. So it's almost tragic that people feel like they have to step back into music that was 10, 20, 30, 40 years back in order to get good quality music. I don't know what to say.
It is because the you know, and I'm listening to you talk, and it's just like, you know, you come from that rich history, that soil. You come from where it all was really, really appreciative, and not just that, it was birthed. Like, you know, you and Klymaxx, trendsetters. It was so many bands too, and I know there were bands before you ladies that was trendsetters as well. But also there are so many people that did it their way. They were more creative.
Yeah.
Now it's like everybody's jumping on everything else, and that's me not saying that, you know, everybody has their talent, and that's me not knocking them at all. They're going to do what they do, but I just feel like the work that you guys put in was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times harder, stronger, longer than it is today, because you're right. They do have everything basically handed to them.
Right. Well, I have to agree with you. I mean, I have a music degree. I can't use it for anything.
Wow.
You know,
wow.
I was able to use it back then, you know, basically to you know, get the group a record deal. But now it's like you know, you say, oh, I have a music degree. It's like, what for? You know, I can tell you how to build a tetrachord. It's like, well, what is that? You know,
My
write
goodness.
music out. You know, it's like nobody does that anymore. You know, get a computer
Right.
to do it for you. It's a lost art in a sense. Everything is different now. Everything is spontaneous, electronic. You don't have to have the same type of education and training. I mean, my hat is off to any child, teenager, young adult that wants to learn how to play an instrument. I mean, learning how to actually hold an instrument and learning the rudiments to be able to play it. I mean, that's almost spiritual, you know.
Yep.
But
Yep.
to sit there and push a button, push a keyboard button, that just doesn't take a lot of, how can I say, soul digging, I guess you could call it.
That's very true.
It doesn't have to take a lot of, you know, rudiments to just kind of push a button. It's travel.
Not really, when you just have to push one button, and that makes your day. One button push.
Yeah.
And
right.
Cheryl Cooley of Klymaxx is our guest on Branded After Dark, and I've never told you this, but I told the audience for years as far as me being on the show. But Cheryl, at one point in time, I used to not love my grandma a lot because she used to make me play the piano. I had piano lessons. I'd rather go and play. I wanted to go and play, and I was like, 11, 12 years old, Cheryl, kid you not, like, did not like it whatsoever, but I had to do it. Grandmama made me. So as I got older, my appreciation for it got a lot stronger because I'm not saying I'm the greatest, but I can play it and I can read sheet music because of that. And I will forever love my grandma now. God rest her soul. Sure. And it was one of those things where it's just like it didn't hit me until I can really use it for, things that actually matter to me. I can play it for certain people where I can do it. And not just that, just knowing the keys and being able to teach other people. And, I ain't going to lie, it helped me out on a couple of dates too, you know what I'm saying? But, it did its justice. But you were so right because, kids don't have that. They don't have the school system like they used to because they used to make us take, I took drums. I'm not sure what you took when you were in school, but we had to learn that too. And, just the effort of it, it just kind of seems like, we don't have that importance of it anymore. And that's a shame too.
Right. It is. But we also have to remember, too, that it's still possible. It's still possible to spark that. Now, how to go about it, I'm not quite sure yet.
Cheryl, it takes a nation. It takes a nation. It just doesn't take you and me and your legions of fans. It's going to take a nation in order for us to turn this around. Because we can only do so much, right?
Yeah, and as good or as bad as this may sound, it's kind of a two-edged sword for me because people are still listening to the music back in the day. I mean, I'm still performing. Think of the time when let's say the 80s music was hot and stuff. Well, groups like the Four Tops of the Temptations or whatever was out in the 60s. They may not have been able to perform.
Yep.
Because the good music was still being produced. So now we've come to a point where everybody is looking back in those times. So it has benefited us to be able to continue to perform. So, it's good and it's bad. I mean, I'm greatly appreciative, of the universe that I can perform 80s music for 2014 and still have a huge audience.
I can still put on my headband, but I'm not going to wear the tight jeans. I can still put on my headband and think I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I'm just saying. And I love you for that because you give me the music to vibe to and to dance to. Like, hey, I'm definitely down. And Cheryl, you know this. That decade, and even though I love the 90s, to me I think the 90s was classic as far as everybody being entrepreneurs and being able to have that decade of dominance. But the 80s was a decade of so much diversity. I loved it. I loved everything that embodied the 80s because it was diverse. Not just the rock bands, the pop bands, all those typical things back in the 80s made it go. The hip hop was good. It was a force to be reckoned with because it was so diverse, and I loved it.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Yep.
I mean, well, what can I say? We still can, listen to all that is out there, and we can even have a
Absolutely.
choice of listening to what's new.
Exactly,
So,
and we got to track Klymaxx down for shows and things like that too. So for all the people out there that's listening, because you know I will, because I'm gonna track you down. I told you, I have. You know what? I've seen the group perform, but that was so long ago, Cheryl. I have to come and hang out with you. So for all the people out there globally that's looking to see when you guys are performing, you have a website, of course, and you have your own social media network. You wanna network and let these people know, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can always catch us at Klymaxx.com. That's spelled KLYMAXX.com. Our calendar is on there. All of our social media links are on there. You can catch us on Facebook.com/KlymaxxMusic. You can always catch me on Facebook. I think I live there. I'm not quite sure. But you can always catch me on Facebook. Cheryl Cooley, just dial up my name, and you'll find me on there. That's where a lot of my exchange with the fans happens is on Facebook. Somebody contacts me on Facebook, I'm going to contact them back. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. But definitely Klymaxx.com, you can always find where we're going to be performing. I post all of our press on there. Actually, there's a link on there for this conversation also. So, and the one that we've had previously, too. So, I mean,
that's right.
All the information is on Klymaxx.com, all the pictures and stuff where we've played before, where we're getting ready to play. All of that is on Klymaxx.com.
Perfect. And people that want to book you guys as far as any venues, anything, any place in the States or overseas, what's the email address for them to contact you ladies?
Oh, definitely. They can just contact us at booking, booking, at Klymaxx.com, and it'll definitely come straight to us.
There you go. One more quick question before I let you go, because I know you have to rehearse. New music.
Yeah,
can we get some new Klymaxx music? Because I mean, I know what everything's going on, Cheryl, with the industry and stuff like that, and I ain't even gonna make no excuse. Like, we need some of that. We need some of that feel good music from from yesteryear, and I need something new. Can Klymaxx please come give us something new in the near future?
You know what?
I'm patient,
I will
but
make sure I will make sure I work on that just for you. How's that?
See, that's love right there. That is love. That is love. See, on Branded After Dark live through Nexxlegacy Radio, we can see, because I requested it, and actually, I'm gonna tell your fan base a little secret though. Like, if you keep going and sending Cheryl Cooley of Klymaxx an email, booking@Klymaxx.com, keep that request form going on.
All of that.
See, you hit her up on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Keep demanding that you not just ask for it, demand it. Demand that you want something new. Demand you want something new from Klymaxx, like ASAP. Like, if you don't do that, she's not going to pay attention to y'all. So I'm just saying, like, if you demand it, demand something new from my girl Cheryl of Klymaxx and Klymaxx. Make sure y'all do. You can't. Do you really think Cheryl's gonna say no? Do you think she's gonna say no?
See, you put me on the spot, but I understand.
Cheryl, but can I phrase a song from one of your classics? I Still Say Yes.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. See, you can't beat that. You cannot beat that. I'm just saying. No, but you know what? I love you to death, and literally, I will make sure that we not just keep the communication open, but the love from Klymaxx is definitely turned up 10,000-fold with so many people listening from different states and overseas and stuff like that. And we got to make sure we pay our love and respects to the people that's continuing to do a lot of good work in this business, and you are one of them, young lady. So you know how I feel about you. You know how I feel about you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I do, sir. Thank you. Aww.
You are very welcome. Tell the rest of the ladies I said hello while you're not meeting in the ladies' room, but I know you're gonna get ready to get it in and do your thing. So,
Yes.
hey, but the men do it. Hey, we still pause, baby. We still pause.
Oh, yeah, that's what I want to hear.
Thank you. Tell the ladies I said, ladies of Klymaxx, I say what's happening. Cheryl, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, sweetheart.
Okay, thank you. Have a great night.
That is the beautiful Cheryl Cooley of Klymaxx. More music, people.
Nexxlegacy.